Hello, I'm Alvin Williams, and this is the Vertical Entertainment Report. Today, we're asking a question almost everyone gets wrong. Who actually watches microdramas? If you pictured a teenager scrolling between classes, you're not alone. A lot of people make that assumption. Because the content is short, it's vertical, it's watched on a phone. So people immediately think TikTok, young audience, teen trend. But the data tells a different story. And if you're a creator, writer, producer, or investor, this may be one of the most important lessons in the entire vertical entertainment business. In the United States, the core micro drama audience is often reported as women between 30 and 60. Research from Ampere Analysis, reported by Digiday, found that more US viewers ages 35 to 44 watch micro dramas than viewers ages 18 to 24. That surprises a lot of people because it breaks one of the biggest assumptions about mobile video. The screen may be young, but the audience is not only young. The phone is simply the delivery system. The emotions inside the story, love, betrayal, revenge, justice, recognition, those are timeless. So why does everyone guess wrong? Because we confuse the format with the audience. Short video looks young, vertical video looks young, phone-first content looks young, but the shape of the screen does not define the viewer. The story does, and the dominant stories in microdrama, romance, betrayal, secret identity, family conflict, revenge, second chances are not teenage stories. They're emotional stories, and emotional stories travel across age. If you want to understand the audience, look at the ancestors of the format. First, soap operas. For decades, daytime serials built some of the most loyal audiences in television history. Daily episodes, big emotions, family secrets, endless cliffhangers, and largely women viewers. Daytime television eventually declined, but the appetite for serialized emotional storytelling did not disappear. The time slot faded, the hunger remained. Then look at romance fiction. For generations, romance novels have been one of publishing's strongest categories. Devoted readers, high volume consumption, and a willingness to pay for the next story. Now put that same emotional engine inside a phone, break it into 90-second episodes, add cliffhangers, add instant access. And suddenly, microdrama makes perfect sense. It didn't create a new audience from nowhere. It found an underserved audience and gave them a new delivery system. This is week 2, so let's follow the money. Adults between 30 and 60 often have more spending power, more autonomy, and more established habits of paying for entertainment. When a paywall appears after a strong cliffhanger, this audience can decide to continue. And many do. Industry reporting has shown that a significant share of US microdrama revenue comes directly from viewers paying, not just from advertising. That is why audience understanding matters. The platform isn't simply chasing views, it's chasing viewers who convert. Now the genre choices make more sense. Billionaire romance, revenge, secret identity, marriage contracts, family betrayal, overlooked women winning. These are not random trends. They speak directly to emotional needs, recognition, justice, love, respect, power, second chances. A viewer who feels overlooked may respond deeply to a story where the underestimated woman finally wins. A viewer who has lived through family pressure may connect with in-law conflict. A viewer who wants escape may choose billionaire fantasy. The genres aren't accidents. They are shaped by what audiences keep watching and what they are willing to pay for. Here is where VEN News plants a flag. Respect the viewer. For decades, soap operas were mocked, but they built loyal audiences and made serious money. Romance novels were dismissed, but they became one of the most powerful categories in publishing. Now microdramas are often mocked in the same way. And once again, the audience is proving the critics wrong. Entertainment created for women over 30 is often underestimated, right up until the numbers become impossible to ignore. Creators who respect this audience will have an advantage. Your viewer is smart, busy, emotionally aware, and generous with her loyalty when the story earns it. So, what does this mean for creators? First, your main character doesn't always have to be 22. Leads in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s can sit closer to the real audience's life. Marriage, workplaces, in laws, divorce, second chances, family secrets, financial pressure. These are powerful story territories. Second, your stakes should live where your audience lives. Family, money, loyalty, recognition, trust, justice. And third, your emotional promise should be clear. By the paywall episode, the viewer should know exactly what wish your story is fulfilling. Is this a story about an underestimated woman finally being seen, a betrayed wife getting justice, a second chance at love, a secret identity revealed? Know the promise, then write toward it. Now, that doesn't mean every microdrama viewer is the same. Action and revenge stories aimed at men are growing. Younger viewers continue discovering the format through social clips. Different countries have different habits. India won't behave exactly like the United States. Brazil won't behave exactly like South Korea. Africa won't behave exactly like China. That's why VEN News always looks at the global picture. But if you are writing for the US market and you have not consciously chosen a different lane, the data points you toward a clear lesson. Write for the viewer who is actually there, not the viewer you assumed was there. Here's today's assignment. Write one sentence describing your ideal viewer. Include three things: her age, her moment in life, and the feeling she comes to your show to get. For example, a 42-year-old working mother who watches in bed and wants to see an underestimated woman win. Now compare your story to that sentence. Does your first episode serve that feeling? Does your paywall episode pique that feeling? If you can't write the viewer sentence, you may not be ready to write the show. And it's much cheaper to learn that now than after production. Here's the VEN perspective. The audience is not an afterthought. The audience is the strategy. Who watches determines what you write, what you cast, how you market, where you place the paywall, and how you build the business. The biggest mistake creators can make is writing for an imagined audience instead of the audience the data reveals. Understand the viewer, and you understand the market. Tomorrow, we'll look at how platforms actually find that viewer through the ad funnel, clip by clip. Do you make vertical content? Who is your one-sentence viewer? Send us your story. You could be featured on VEN News. I'm Alvin Williams, and this is VEN News, the global voice of vertical entertainment. We'll see you in the next report.